Welcome to tonight's Planning Commission meeting, this May 9th, 2024. We will begin with the Pledge of Allegiance by Commissioner Treckler and opening remarks by Commissioner Fugel.
Our dear God, Heavenly Father, we thank you for the opportunity we have to be here tonight to discuss these issues here in Pleasant Grove. We ask that you please be with us as we make these decisions, that we can really do what's best for our community and for our loved ones here. Father, we ask you for these things in the name of Jesus Christ. Amen.
Thank you. All right, I will take a motion to approve tonight's agenda.
I move that we approve tonight's agenda.
Second.
All right, we have a motion to approve from Commissioner Fugel and a second from Commissioner Butler. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, that passes. Now we'll take a motion for to approve the staff reports.
I move that we approve the staff reports as written.
I second.
All right, we have a motion to approve staff reports from Commissioner Butler and a second from Commissioner Shirley. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, that passes. Are there any declaration of conflicts and abstentions from commissioner members? Okay, not seeing any. We will proceed to the first item tonight, which is a public hearing to consider the request of St. John Properties for a 4-lot and a 2-parcel preliminary subdivision plat called Valley Grove Business Park Plat P. This subdivision is approximately 40.02 acres in size and is located on the property identified with parcel number 14-054-0162 and bounded by Valley Grove Way, Proctor Lane, I-15, and Pleasant Grove Boulevard in the Grove Zone. Jacob, turn it over to you.
Good evening, Madam Chairman and members of the Commission. I'm Jacob Hawkins from the Planning Department. So these first two items that we have on the agenda for tonight are the introductory development projects for this large section of land right here next to the freeway. The addresses weren't provided for this location until just recently, which is why we're using parcel numbers to describe the locations for tonight, but I'll also be outlining the boundaries of these items as we go through tonight's presentation. So starting...
City Planner, let's make sure, so we only announced item 1, so let's just go to item 1, and then once you guys go item 2, we'll jump into item 2.
Yes.
So let's know them together for now.
Okay. Yeah, so starting with the subdivision, actually, this is the location for the proposed subdivision, stretching from Pleasant Grove Boulevard to Proctor Lane all the way over here. The subdivision plat for this area encompasses approximately 40 acres and has 4 lots and 2 parcels. Access to these lots will primarily stem from Valley Grove Way, which is up here, but not from Pleasant Grove Boulevard, because Pleasant Grove Boulevard ramps up to do the overpass right there, so there won't be enough room to do any entrances from that direction. The Utah Department of Transportation also purchased a bit of land right down here to make way for a frontage road, and so access onto this property will also come from that new frontage road as well. So here's the plat, and you can see the location for each of the proposed lots and parcels. So a private road will come from the roundabout there, and then there will also be an entrance onto the properties from here, from Valley Grove Way, and also from down here, from the frontage road. And the next item that we'll talk about will be for a hotel, and the site plan for that one will be this lot right here, which is lot 34, so just keep that one in mind for the next item. So while this plat is large in area, the zoning requirements for subdivision plats in the Grove Zone are minimal, in that there are no requirements for lot area, width, or frontage. Most of the zoning requirements that take place in the Grove Zone are more at the site plan level, which we'll get into in the next item. And so staff recommends approval of the proposed subdivision plat with the condition that all zoning and engineering requirements are met. And I can take any questions.
Any questions for, all right, Jacob, thank you, appreciate that. All right, is the applicant here? And if so, if you'd like to come forward, just make sure you state your name.
Good evening, Commissioners. Happy to be here. Happy to see this start to move forward. This is Marty Beaumont with St. John Properties. And this is kind of just getting the project started down here. We needed some lots created to be able to start working on some site plans and work through financing for that. So we've got 4 lots that we needed created so we can start working through that. So pretty straightforward from that standpoint. You'll be seeing more hopefully shortly on a couple more. You got the hotel tonight, a couple more here on those other 2 lots that are in the process and close to getting ready to come to you as well to be reviewed and approved. So we're looking forward to having a busy summer. In addition to all of this, you can see a lot of, we have some major drainage channels that go through the site that we're addressing with the plat. There's easements being granted on here that allows the city's water, mainly stormwater, but also culinary water that services the site. We've worked with Public Works and Engineering to make sure that's incorporated in this plat. So the easements that the city needs through the property are also dedicated on this plat. And so looking forward to hopefully get started here shortly on some major utility projects that bring utilities through this site and handle the ditches and water requirements for the development. So it's a great project. Looking forward to getting going. So any questions? Happy to answer anything.
I always have questions.
Yeah.
Well, I'm just curious, it's interesting how you have these plots, like parcel A. I'm just curious, is it because a lot of the drainage, you aren't doing stuff right now on that? Are you, like, how far out in the future are you? I'm just thinking of like best use of the entire land.
Yeah.
And not getting landlocked in there or having enough roads.
The way that St. John Properties is developed, everybody kind of has a process of how they do that. St. John Properties across the road, you can see all of these kind of odd-shaped lots that are created depending on the different building, what the requirements are for parking and access and building size. We were doing the same thing on Phase 6, which is this whole piece here. And right now, for example, we've got 2 buildings that we would like to build here against Pleasant Grove Boulevard. And so we had to create the 2 lots that would accommodate that. As this whole thing eventually will be platted with lots throughout, so we'll come in, we'll vacate parcel A and create a new lot, for example, when this corner pad comes in with the building and another one. So it's just the way the development progresses. We'll be bringing in a new plat for every new site plan that we want to move forward with typically. So does that make sense? So
No,
it's,
yeah, it does. I was just curious how far out you guys usually plan and what kind of customers you want coming in to build there.
yeah, there's a whole preliminary concept master plan for the site, right? The development agreement, I think, showed that very well, that we had got approved last year, or last July anyways. And right now, we're just kind of following along with that. The hotel was planned here, again, a different configuration than the concept, but it's a hotel. Here, we've got a couple of retail buildings. That's what was shown on the master plan. And so we're marketing it that way as the concept master plan. As we get different interests in the property and tenants and things of that nature, then that'll kind of determine what the buildings are, where they sit, how they get access, where they park, all those types of things.
Okay. Yeah, I was just curious because that one side is freeway, so
Yeah,
there's noise from that and
yeah.
just was curious how far out
Most
you
of our
guys go.
development is inward against this. Obviously, it's going to look great from the freeway, but like Jacob was mentioning, we did reserve some access points, one here and actually one in this area here to that frontage road system, which is going to be a great amenity to have direct access from people on, and not even having to hit, some of these other roads where we've got a lot of congestion. They can just come right into the development and leave right out through the development and enjoy that. So yeah, there's a lot of great things. The property's in, it's being well developed, I feel, of course, but it's also got great access and great opportunity. And so we're looking forward to keeping it moving. There's a lot of momentum. There's a lot of interest. So we're moving forward.
Okay. Thanks for answering my questions.
Yeah,
on
you're
that.
welcome.
All right, thank you, Marty.
Thank you.
Appreciate it. All right, this is a public hearing, so we will open it up to the public if anyone wants to come forward. Not seeing anybody, we will close the public hearing and bring it back up to the commissioners for a motion or discussion.
I'll make a motion. I move the Planning Commission forward a positive recommendation of approval for the request of St. John's Properties for a 4-lot, 2-parcel preliminary subdivision plat located on parcel 14:054:0162 in the Grove Interchange Subdistrict, and adopting the exhibits, conditions, and findings of the staff report that all final planning, engineering, and fire department requirements are met.
Second.
All right, we have a motion to approve from Commissioner Butler and a second from Commissioner Fugel. All in favor, say aye. Any opposed? All right, that passes. The second item for tonight is a public hearing to consider the request of Sequoia Development for a commercial site plan for a hotel located on property identified with parcel 14:054:0162 and bounded by Valley Grove Way, Proctor Lane, I-15, and Pleasant Grove Boulevard in the Grove Zone Interchange Subdistrict. Jacob, thank you.
Thank you. All right. So this hotel is the first installment of development on the previously heard plat. So here's the location of where that hotel will be. Which will be right there, the lot 34 that we were talking about. And here's what the zoning looks like. As you can see, this is in the Grove Interchange Subdistrict, but it has the Valley Grove mixed-use overlay. So this item was brought before the Planning Commission back in August 2023, where it originally intended to be located just north of this property, right here on that one. Since then, they've changed locations, but not the plans for the building, so the elevation plans will still remain the same. The hotel still intends to have 143 units, which requires 143 parking spaces. On this new property, the applicant is short about 17 spaces. However, they have provided a parking agreement for those leftover spaces with a future property to the south. As you can see where those extra 17 parking spaces will be, just right down there. And so all the parking requirements for the hotel are taken care of. Setbacks in this particular zone, being the Valley Grove mixed-use overlay, are 10 feet from the foundation of the building to the right-of-way, excluding the area occupied by the gutter, curb, park strip, and sidewalk along local roads, which includes Valley Grove Way here. In short, there needs to be a minimum of 10 feet between the building and the sidewalk. There are no specified setbacks from private roads, and setbacks along the side and rear property lines are not required where the Grove Zone, in the Grove Zone for non-residential uses abutting a residential zone. As for the required open space and landscaping, the applicant provides for 28% open space, as highlighted by this green area, and provides for 29 trees. The applicant is requesting to have fewer evergreen trees than the typical requirement, and the typical requirement is typically 30% of all trees need to be evergreen. But the water table in this area is so high that evergreen trees have a hard time surviving, and so the applicant is requesting to not meet that requirement and provide only 3 evergreen trees. Also, as a reminder, here are the elevations and renderings of the hotel. And these remain unchanged since the last time that this was brought to the Planning Commission. With all that, staff recommends approval of the proposed site plan, and I can take any questions.
What side is facing Valley Grove Way? Show me that on the renderings.
Yeah. So Valley Grove will be,
That's the front, facing Valley Grove.
yeah, this side will face Valley Grove, I believe. But I'll let the applicant verify that.
If the reason for reducing the amount of evergreens required is that they're gonna die, are we just having them plant 3 dead evergreen trees to try and comply with the code?
No. So the 3 evergreen trees that they have, I believe, will still manage to survive in that area because they'll be a little bit smaller.
Because there's 3 that can survive, but the rest of them can't.
Maybe it's location?
I'm,
Right.
Location,
I mean, I guess, but
Yeah.
it seems like it'd be an all or nothing thing.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't really know the land, like, I don't know the nature of like the trees and what like really survives and with a higher table of water or anything. But I believe those 3 trees are these 3 right here, these kind of boulder looking ones. So, I mean, if they can do it, I think, okay. If they are gonna die, then yeah, absolutely, they should probably be ripped out and put like some better trees in there that will survive. But ultimately, though,
I don't have any like. I don't think evergreen trees are that great anyway. I don't really understand that part in our code, but I mean, I do. I get what they provide, but to have just 3 of those there is odd, and especially if the reason we're denying it is because they're going to die. I don't see why we don't just eliminate it altogether for this one.
and even if we eliminate the entire requirement, even if they are still providing those 3 trees, it's still below what the actual requirement is anyway. So either way would be the same, I think.
I mean, other than we're going to make them plant 3 trees that are going to die.
You're saying just get rid of the evergreens?
Yeah, I mean, I don't see the point in having the applicant actually be required to put them in.
Sure. Yeah.
Have them put in landscaping from the beginning. It's going to look good.
Yeah, and we can do that. And if you want to, we can even include that in one of the recommendations. Just say with the condition that no evergreen trees are
Required.
planted. Yeah. However.
All right.
I have a question about the parking.
Yes.
Is there going to be an additional road to get to the extra 14 spaces?
Yeah, so, great question. So the access for the hotel is going to be from Promenade Way right here, which is going to be a private street first. And then there's also going to be road base at the very least that kind of comes in through here during the time that they're, getting the plans and all that ready for the property to the south. And then whenever this site plan actually comes in, then they'll actually go through with the paving, get the rest of the landscaping in, and get that all done and taken care of.
So has that been purchased already,
Yes.
that part?
It's the same property owner, Commissioner. They own both of them. However, since they're 2 different entities, because that's going to be a lot and the other one's going to be a parcel,
Yes.
we'll still require a parking agreement. We do have the parking agreement. It's a parking agreement between the same property owner, but since it's 2 different properties, we require it anyway, just to be sure. But in this case, it's the same property owner. If I hear you correctly, City Planner, so these parking stalls will be developed at the same time as all of this is developed, correct? Yes,
That was my other question.
they will be developed. So these parking stalls that are right there are going to be fully built to compliance.
I have a question. How many other hotels are currently in Pleasant Grove? Just the one?
There's just Hyatt Hotel, I
Right.
believe, right
And
now.
Does it ever fill up its parking spot? Is it ever full? Or is this one gonna be not ever full too? I mean, I'm just
Yeah.
wondering.
The other hotel's full.
It's full?
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
perfect. Okay,
That staff doesn't know that. We don't keep track
Okay.
of that.
I
Okay.
just drive by there a lot. It's full
okay.
all the time.
Okay. And also, will this parking for the hotel, there'll be signs saying it's only hotel parking, like the people that, once it's all built out and there's other retail in there, so that retail won't be taking up the parking spots for the hotel?
I don't have an answer for that one at this time. You can definitely ask the applicant. I believe it will be fairly apparent, though, that these spaces will be for the hotel because as this road comes down, this road is also going to come down and across here. And so all of these little parking islands will kind of indicate, okay, here's the edge of the property, essentially, this is where the hotel is going to be. But yeah, by all means, the applicant can
Okay.
provide additional information.
So the city has the parking requirements, one parking space for every room.
Mhm.
What about staff? How come staff parking wasn't included in the numbers?
That's a really good question.
Because when we copy it from another city, it didn't say.
There you go.
Gotcha.
It's an effort to not overpark, right?
No, it's a fair question, but in the reality is like, if we think about how many uses are there and how we're gonna come
Yeah.
out with it, so
Ultimately,
I'm assuming that is the same code for multiple cities.
okay.
Unless somebody actually puts the finger on the line and say, hey, how about we work and do a study about this? Usually the parking ratios are the same. And usually that comes from a developer that says, hey, I've realized that I actually don't need one for every room. Actually, I need 0.75 for every room. And I would like to submit a code text amendment to do it and something like that. In reality, this is the second hotel.
Yeah.
Until when I came here in 2016, we have no hotels. And then we had the Hyatt, which it came probably like 5 years ago, 4 or 5 years ago. So it was we always had that portion of the code right there, and we never utilized it until that one, and now we're using it for this one. We're in reality not a hotel city, right? Or something that requires to do it. However, if you guys would like to, we can jump in to do some research in case there's a third one in the way.
Okay. Thank you.
All right. Thanks, Jacob. All right, if the applicant's here and if you'd like to come forward, just remember to state your name in the microphone. Thank you.
I am Malik Mafu with Sequoia Development. I'll just get right in and start answering a few of the questions I heard. Across every city we've done a hotel in, that's been pretty much the standard. One parking stall per room. We've tried to fight it because we find that it's overparked. We've done studies on past hotels. You have 100 rooms rented, 75 cars in the parking lot. And that's because most of the time, not only do you have business travel that are, taking a Lyft or an Uber or carpooling in a van with a bunch of different people, but you're not running at 100% occupancy constantly. Here, we actually manage the Hyatt Hotel in Pleasant Grove. Average occupancy is anywhere between 70 to 80%. And that's, and we have way more parking stalls. Yes, it's full. We have a lot of people that stay there, but there's still lots of open stalls that go unused. And a lot of people that do park there, Evermore's across the street. And that's kind of where we have a cross-parking easement in the CC&Rs. So if there is overflow, there's going to be hundreds of stalls here. And a lot of this is for business, which their hours are during the day. And people who stay at the hotels, it's at night. So it's a good cross-park where our guests are there parking when no one else is, and so there's usually never a conflict. So I don't see that ever being a problem with what we have designed here, especially with only 17 stalls, which I believe it will get narrowed down to maybe even 15 when we're all said and done. But so that hopefully answers your questions there. The one other question when you guys are talking about our elevations, they will change slightly because the back of the hotel is actually now facing Valley Grove, and we wanted to dress it up and make it look more appealing from that side. So when we do submit our final plans, you'll have more signage and a little more pop-outs, give it a little more dimension so it'll look better than what you already saw, which
Okay,
I
that
thought
was
would
my
look like a pretty good
concern.
hotel as it was. So hopefully you guys will be happy.
That's up to you, commissioners. We weren't thinking about those changes. It's up to you guys. Want to continue the item? If you guys want to see the item with those elevations, it's totally up to you guys. Maybe it's a good time to ask how much they will change because they're supposed to have final plans in front of you guys for elevations.
I mean, footprint, number of rooms, anything structural, nothing's changing. It's just adding pop-outs and making the roof line a little different,
So
just to make it look better.
Are
so
you gonna have a
the part
sign?
the part
Yeah,
that's
and we'll put signs on that
On the
side.
front
Yeah,
and on
the
the
back.
back?
On the back, yeah.
Okay.
Both sides. It's really not anything.
I don't know. I'd still feel better having that go through design review board and everything else. but-
Correct. So one thing you guys can do is send it back to the design review board, not to the planning commission, but to the design review board before it goes to city council if changes will be made.
Yeah, so this
So
right
they
here.
don't have to come here again, but definitely design review?
Yes.
Okay,
Yeah.
I think that's smart.
Put it in your conditions of approval.
So I have a question. So this is gonna be facing towards the freeway?
Correct.
And this is the back that's
Correct.
facing towards the road right there?
Yeah.
And that's what they're gonna change?
Yeah,
is
so
the
we're gonna
back.
add signage here, and dress this up slightly, just with like little overhangs, and to make this like another appealing entrance, because we have a path there. It's supposed to have walkability to the restaurants across the street, R&R Barbecue.
Okay, so you will have paths?
Yeah.
And then there's gonna be the landscaping as well, looks like a lot of
Yeah,
green
so
on
there's a
that
lot of
side.
landscaping, a lot of paths, so people can access the building from all different directions, because it's
Okay.
supposed to be like a walkable,
Yeah.
Okay.
community, I guess you could say, but it's an office park.
What were your thoughts about the evergreen trees?
Evergreen trees, I mean, it was one of those situations where you guys were requiring it, our landscaper was like, it's a terrible idea, and we met in the middle with 3. Where we thought we could, it was kind of a higher grade spot, maybe they'll survive, just trying to make you guys happy. If you want us to get rid of them, I'm sure it'll make my landscaper very happy.
Okay. Okay.
Do a nice river oak.
Let's see.
Okay, any other questions? All right, thank you, appreciate it.
Awesome, thank you.
All right, this is a public hearing, so we will open it up to the public. Not seeing anybody, we'll close it for the public and bring it back up to the commissioners, either for a motion or discussion.
That's all walking, right? Okay. Well, should we add that about the,
Yeah.
we don't care about evergreens?
I was gonna take out the requirement for any evergreens.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then add, it has to go to design
Design
review
review
board.
board again, okay.
I'll make a motion. I move the planning commission forward a positive recommendation of approval for the request of Sequoia Development for a commercial site plan for a hotel located on the proposed Lot 34 of Valley Grove Business Park Plat P on property zoned the Grove Interchange Subdistrict, and adopting the exhibits, conditions, and findings of the staff report, and as modified by the conditions below. 1, that all final planning, engineering, and fire department requirements are met. 2, that all landscaping requirements are met with the exception that there are no evergreen trees required. And 3, that any changes to the design be returned and approved by the design review board.
I'll second.
All right, we have a motion for approval with conditions with Commissioner Fugel and a second from Commissioner Trickler. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, that passes. Okay, our third item for tonight is a public hearing to consider a request from Ralph Vanderbeek for Jill Bigelow for a zone change from RR Rural Residential Zone to R1-10 Single Family Residential Zone on approximately .23 acres of land located at 1330 North, 100 East. Jacob, turn it over to you.
All righty, thank you. All right, so this last item for tonight is a rezone. The applicant is working with staff on a potential subdivision, and the requested rezone from the rural residential zone to the R110 zone will be for a lot that fronts onto 100 East, kind of as you can see outlined here. This proposed rezone will cover a lot that is only 10,012 square feet in size, which meets the minimum area and width requirements of the proposed R110 zone. With this proposed zone change, most of the permitted uses will stay the same. The major difference is that by going through a rezone, the applicant will lose their ability for animal rights on the property in favor of having a smaller lot. Looking at the zoning map, most of the surrounding properties are also zoned R110, and the general plan also designates this area as part of the single-family low-density designation, which includes the R115, R112, and R110 zones. Because the requested zone change is in conformance with the general plan and is compatible with the surrounding property, staff recommends approval of the proposed zone change, and I can take any
City
questions.
planner, will you please show the image of the general plan
Yes.
and the location of the property in the general plan?
might be faster if I just do this.
So the reason for that, Chair, is because it's important that as a commissioners, we see what even though it's a legislative decision, when we work in our general plan, we make a decision of what properties could be rezoned to what. So I think it's important that we always go back to our general plan, see if it even meets the elements established previously by ourselves. I think it's important that we take a look at that. City planner, what zones are encompassed in the single-family low density?
R115, R112, and R110.
Thank you.
All right, anyone have questions for Jacob?
A normal lot, so it says new lots, normal lot and a flag lot that will both face 100 east.
Yeah.
How is
so-
that? I'm curious, because if they're both facing, I'm looking at it, if they're both facing 100 east, I'm
So,
just trying to wrap my head around it, I apologize.
no worries at all. So you can kind of see right here, there's going to be this section where the rezone is going to be, and then this is the flag lot where the existing home is going to be, and they'll kind of cap that off right about there, at least on their proposed subdivision plat, which we are not hearing at this time.
So the fact that the existing home is facing 100 east, that's what it is?
That's
Okay.
why, yeah. So
That's why it's facing 100 east.
That's why it's
not both
facing.
of them on the road.
exactly, yeah.
Okay.
And there will be no access to this house from, is that
1280.
1280 north? Yeah, so there will be no access to 1280 north for this home. And the rest of this property is yet to be subdivided further down the road, but yeah,
Okay.
that's what I was just trying to explain, though.
Okay.
And that white area is 0.23 acres?
Yes,
So
which
is it just under R110 or it fits in R110?
So that's the 10,012 square feet into acres.
Yeah.
So it meets the minimum
above,
requirements. It's above.
Okay, okay.
Mhm.
So when it says 3, just for clarification, I'm being a little slow today. 1, 2,
Mhm.
3.
Exactly.
Okay.
Okay.
Thanks, Jacob.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you. All right, if the applicant's here, if you'd like to come forward, just state your name.
I'm Ralph Vanderbeek.
Hey, Ralph, welcome.
Thanks. This one's pretty boring compared to the first two. Do you have questions for me?
Flag lots are never boring.
All right. That was a really sad comment.
Anybody have
I
any
don't
questions?
have any questions.
I'm just curious, is it for family or it's,
Yeah, this is for my mother and father-in-law.
okay,
So they live in the home just east of that lot.
okay,
And so it's just going to be a little bit of retirement for them.
okay. Is there going to be room for a pickleball court?
Do you know what? So you're going to be very excited about what's coming because we're going to have a barn with pickleball courts in it, and you're invited.
Okay. I move
that
to
a brag?
pass everything Ralph wants to do.
Thanks.
Can we joke like that? I'm sorry.
Yeah, we might
Daniel, why are
have,
you
I-
covering your face,
I think
Daniel?
that's-
you need to,
officially in
Yeah, that's a declaration
I'll make
of
sure
a
it's in there.
conflict
yeah,
there.
yeah, you might need
I
to
had nothing to do with it.
recuse yourself. All right, thank you very much. All right, this is a public hearing, so we will open it up to the public, but I'm not seeing anybody else there, so I'm going to go ahead and close it and bring it up to the commissioners.
It fits into the
Yeah,
zone.
I agree.
So I'll make a motion. I move the Planning Commission forward a recommendation of approval to the City Council for the request of Ralph Vanderbeek for the rezone of .23 acres of land located at 1330 North, 100 East, from the rural residential zone to the R110 zone, and adopting the exhibits, conditions, and findings of the staff report.
I second.
All right, we have a motion to approve from Commissioner Butler and a second from Commissioner Nelson. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, that passes as well. Okay, I will take a motion to approve the minutes for April 25th, 2024 meeting.
I move that we approve the minutes from April 25th, 2024 meeting.
Second.
All right, have approval from Commissioner Fugel and a second from Commissioner Butler. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, that passes as well. Motion to adjourn?
Yes.
I